yeah. Looks alright. What's up, everyone? Weather's back to normal, grey, wet. So what am I on today? Well, today is the 2015 Honda Fireblade. It's the middle version, so I think it's got ABS, and that's it. Main thing I'm going to be comparing it to for myself is the S1000RR, because that's the only other one I've ridden that I like. I've only got this one for an hour, unfortunately, which is enough. That's fine. First thoughts: it's all right. The Fireblade and Honda's, the Fireblade is Honda's flagship. Everyone knows that. Unlike everyone else, they're not going down the whole electronic everything route, which is nice. I like that. That's why I'm interested by this bike. Top of the range one competes with the S1000RR directly. It's not a direct competition, unfortunately. The S1000 absolutely demolishes it in every way, but, well, apart from the engine. But yeah, this one, no traction control, ABS, manual throttle, clutch throttle, cable throttle, cable clutch, no rider modes, just, as the guy said, it's just you and the bike, that's it. There's no electronic interaction where you don't want it. Everything is just as it should be in my eyes. Just you and the bike. Position wise, again, I think for me I have to get aftermarket rear sets no matter what bike I end up getting, because I'm fat and slightly awkward shaped, so I am quite cramped on this, in all fairness. Less so than on the BMW though. It's a lot easier to get my feet up on this. My back isn't in as much pain. My wrists aren't hurting, although I think that is down to the suspension. The suspension on this feels a lot more natural. On the straight. In the corners it's not as nice as the BMW. BMW definitely is a lot nicer through the corners. It feels more planted. This one skips about a little bit, but again I think that's because of how the suspension is set up, which obviously is just a stock demonstrator bike, so it's got nothing special on it. It's not as quick as the BMW. So, well, it's as quick as the BMW, but the BMW is a lot more aggressive in how it gives you the power. The BMW engine is a lot more powerful than this one, and you know that. That's the first thing I felt when I got on, was the difference in power delivery. This one is much more smooth. Still take you up there. It still has very nice acceleration. It's more manageable than the BMW. It's more of a day-to-day rather than track type acceleration. Gearbox is nicer. Obviously you don't have a quick shifter, you don't have a auto blipper. It is nicer, I will say that. I prefer this clutch and gearbox setup. Brakes aren't as good. I will say that. I do know that I'm not a fan of the brakes on this. The BMW brakes are much better, but they are, again, from a Brembo's. Comparing the quality of the two bikes, unfortunately, it's not much better. It's not a lot better on this one. On the BMW, you're very aware that the money has gone into the engine. A lot of the bodywork is very cheap black plastic. Unfortunately, it's the same on this from what I've seen so far. Maybe on the Repsol one it's slightly different, but I think it's more just a cover on that because it's not... You're not aware that it is because it's orange and white. This one on the obviously it's just the basic. All the air vents, scoops, everything behind the dash, you know, the light covers, all that, just has a slight whiff of cheap about it, which is a shame. You know, it is a shame. You are paying, you know, 10 grand for a bike. I would like it to have a little bit more build quality to it. And I suppose if you're going to compare build quality, you should probably compare equipment. This doesn't have a steering damper, it doesn't have wheelie control, it has ABS, it doesn't have traction control. I'm curious to see what the mileage would be on this, the economy wise, because on the S1000 I took it out on Saturday, I had to fill up twice and I did 160 miles. Well, it was more like 2.5. That worried me. That put in about 65 to 75 miles to the gallon, to the tank, sorry. Dealer, I mentioned that, the dealer didn't mention this one, but I'm assuming it's still only going to be around the 110 mark. You know. But I think what you've got here with this one is the opposite end of the scale from the BMW. BMW is the top of the range, top of the line. It's got all of the toys, literally all of the toys. Too many toys, in fact, you could say. And this one has the opposite end of the scale. It has none of the toys. It's more you and the bike. So you sort of cater for both things there. It depends on what you want. Obviously some people like to have that, not a crutch of electronic backup, but the support that you definitely get from the support and the input you get from those electronic things. They do work, otherwise they wouldn't be on there. You know, they're tried and tested things. So it would be silly of me to say that they don't do anything. All of this stuff, you know, the gear, the handlebar decorations, they look better on the BMW and they feel better. This one, the indicator feels clunky, it feels cheap, it's not smooth, it's not smooth, it's just... I don't know how to say, I don't know. It's a nice dunk when you turn it off. You know, there's a nice reassuring click when you turn it off. it looks cheap, it feels cheap. Which again, I'm disappointed. It kind of spoils the bike for me. It spoils the bike a little bit. I'd expect it to be a better build quality, and it's just not. And I think that's the trend at the minute. I haven't come across a bike with a nice build quality. Well, no, to actually tell a lie, I have. The Tiger is still my favourite bike I've ridden. Again, there's that power. You have to be away from 4,000 and then you get that, whoop, it's that surge above 4,000. Peculiar. Don't know if I like it. Yeah. I'm not sold on this, unfortunately. And when you pull the clutch in, there's a point where you get to. There. Where you feel the bite point, it clicks. I don't know whether the wire's catching or what, but there's like a click which you can feel. Softly. There's a click, yeah, there's a click. I don't like that. Although the bite point is set up quite nicely on this, that you can two-finger shift, but yeah, that can... don't know about that. All of these things are conjecture, obviously. This is a demo bike, it's not set up for me in any way. And from that sense of it, yeah, it's a brilliant bike. It feels comfortable, my back isn't overly sore, my wrists are fine. No pain, no strain, nothing, which is nice. I'm not used to having that. I'm used to being in pain. But the overall quality of the bike, it just isn't there, I'm afraid. It just isn't there. And the look is a bit... yeah. It's a bit dated. Ooh. It's got that little stubby exhaust. It doesn't sound bad. I will say that. The stock exhaust doesn't sound bad. It doesn't have that pop noise that the BMW one does, like we hit a can. The BMW sounds like you hit a steel drum with a baseball bat. It's got that definitive thunk when you close the throttle. But this one has a note change. As you below 3000 RPM it's quiet, and then as you hit 4000 RPM there's a little noise, which is quite nice. So overall, I think this bike is more livable day to day. It's more of a quote-unquote, you could commute, end quote, bollocks, you know. You could day-to-day ride this bike. I could day-to-day ride this bike back and forth to work, and I wouldn't be... I wouldn't think twice of it. I'd be fine, assuming the mileage is okay on the petrol side. But I feel again let down by the build quality. I expect more. 7 out of 10, should we say? 7 out of 10. Could do better. B plus. No, actually, no, you know, B minus. I'm going to be mean. I'm going to be mean. B minus. Could do better. Room for improvement. But you know, it's not a bad effort. Not a bad effort. So there we are. Until next time. Ride safe. Bye bye.